Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Magdalene with Jet radio show right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Tonight we have a special guest with us back on the show. We have Andres Vargas of the blackened metal band THY ANTICHRIST. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, Jet, how you doing today? So thanks for having me again. After the long time that we had our previous interview, we were discussing that, but it was around 3 years ago, and I'm excited to be here tonight with you again.
And we're glad to have you back with so much going on with the band. And now, hey, so let's get a little history really quick. Growing up, what was the metal scene like in Colombia? And what kind of, music sparked your interest in this kind of music that you're making today?
Well, since the beginning, I've been a really fan of the old school metal bands, the classic bands of all the time, like a Black Sabbath, Scorpions, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, the old Metallica, all that kind of stuff. Basically, I get into the old classic metal bands, the old classic rock and roll bands. So in that way, I started my devotion just for the metal, especially for the classics. And then I start, obviously, just with the time, later on the time, I start working with my one project, my one band. But obviously, I get so many influences in the 90s, in the early 90s, especially coming from the black metal wave of the Scandinavian metal, that was coming at the time. That was the black metal wave at the time from Scandinavia. The old black metal bands, that they were doing an amazing job at that time. It was amazing just hear that kind of noise coming from Norway, from Sweden bands like a Dark Throne, Mayhem, Dark Funeral. All these bands just came with a kind of new sound, new hellish and dark ambient sound at that time. In the early 90s, it was amazing. So that caught me at that time. And then I get more involved into the black metal style, according just to the genre of my band.
And so the Antichrist started back, in the late 90s, 98 or whatever, in Colombia. And, your bio states that it was based on a book called The Antichrist. So tell us about forming the band back then and what, you wished to create with it at the time.
Yeah, basically I relocated from Colombia to Dallas, Texas in 2011. So it has been a really long process to get the band to this point. A really hard work behind the scenes, working hard really every day, taking care of all the details of the band. So it was a kind of transition, coming from a different culture, the South American culture, the Colombian culture, coming to the U.S. And basically, one of my experiences that I can tell you about that process is, it was really hard for me at the beginning, because when I came over here in 2011, basically I had to rebuild all the band from zero. I started doing audition for some musicians, trying to find the best elements to join the band, to get on the band, to do the performance that I was looking at the time, the music that I was looking at the time. So it was a kind of hard, at the beginning, looking for the right guys, the right musicians, the right really committed guys to be working on this project. And since then has been basically working every day, working hard, start showing the performance that we got, that I was looking forward to show to the people at the time, So basically we are coming on an learning curve since the 2011 until this point of really, really hard work.
And once you got over here, like you said, and you had to recreate or just get everything back together again, what were some of the first things you did since you've been back here in 2011, when you came over here in 2011? Did you release any albums prior to the latest one, or do any shows or anything like that?
Yeah, the good thing is, the pretty cool thing when I came over here with the band. So some of the people, they already knew about the work that I was doing in Colombia. About the YouTube videos, about especially some of the live festivals that we played in Colombia. with the whole performance that I usually I show it during the stage, during the performance, during the shows. You know, for the corpse paint, all the kind of things was the most interesting thing about the band. So it was a kind of exciting thing, interesting thing, because most of the people, they already knew about the work that I was previously doing in Colombia. So that kind was a little bit easy just to start showing to the people the new live show over here in the US. But yeah, basically that was the experience, you know, the transition, coming from Colombia, starting working over here, so finding the right musicians, having the music at the point that I was looking for, having the performance that I was looking for, just to show to a new scene, you know, basically, because we start, in that case, the way that I've been telling you is basically I start from zero when I came over here.
And so you mentioned, you know, about the corpse paint and how, you know, people, that is such a visual that it's definitely something that people grasp onto really quick. So let's talk a little bit about that. You know, the stage presence, like I said, you're known for the, you know, extensive paint, you know, on your body and face. So what does this all represent to you, and why is it an important part of Thy Antichrist?
Well, so it's part of the process, you know, has been a part of the process that I've been improving along the time. You know, basically, this year I'm going to have 20 years working with a band.
Wow.
So everything has been for me a personal process, you know, step by step, being patient, to get the image, to get the music onto this point. Yeah, it's a really demanding process. All the performance that I get just before the shows. Basically, I'm spending around 2.5 hours, 3 hours to get all my painting, basically by myself with no help. So when I get immersed in a kind of ritualistic process, just to get all this paint, all the performance, all the visual aspect for the band. So most of the influences that I got with this corpse paint or with the painting or the body art is basically has been influenced into the traditional indigenous culture for my country and from South America, you know, for the traditional and indigenous culture, when the shamans or the communities, the indigenous communities that we use in paint, you know, as a ritualistic manifestation of so many different things, you know, a connection with the nature, a connection with the spirit, a connection with the art, with the earth. So basically, I've been getting all that kind of influence from there, you know, for the indigenous or the ancient traditional cultures, especially from South America. And I've been including that kind of elements in this performance, you know, in the black metal style, because usually you notice that the black metal usually they are using just the body, the face paint only, but I went beyond the face paint. I start doing all that transformation, especially in my torso and my arms, just getting that kind of ritualistic process before going on stage. So it's a demanding thing. It's a demanding process. It's basically, as I described, it's 2.5 or 3 hours before the show, and it's a crazy thing because, you know, sometimes or most of the times we are just performing 35 minutes, 45 minutes. So you can tell that it's a really demanding hard work behind the scenes before getting all the performance on stage.
Last time we talked was back in about 2014. So what has the band been up to since then? What have you been doing? What have you had going on? Some tours? I know you did the 70,000 tons.
Okay. Well, since that time, yeah, we are keeping active, really active, going to several towns for the first time. Basically, we are be doing some tours, some short tours all across the United States, all across the states, and different markets, different main markets. So since that time, we went to Mexico. We made our first Mexican tour. So we went to Colombia too. We were making a Colombian tour. We are keeping active, you know, doing shows, going to festivals, In the meantime, we were keeping active, just writing this album, this new album, Rat of the Beast.
And during that time, you got picked up by Napalm Records as well. So tell us about that. When did they pick you up?
Well, it was an amazing experience getting this deal with Napalm Records, because when we started working of writing this album, basically we didn't have a record label at the time. So the main focus for us, the main focus for me, for the band, was just writing a good album. Enjoying writing a good album, having all the elements that I was looking for this album, for the songs, for the sound, until we get the offer with Napalm Records. So it was a really, really an amazing opportunity getting into the roster of this one of the most recognized and reputable record labels nowadays into the extreme metal. So we get the opportunity with them just to make a Rat of the Beast getting a reality nowadays. So it has been an amazing experience and an incredible experience. We have been learning a lot about during this process, because before basically I've been working, or I was working just with dealing directly with the underground labels, working just in the underground. But just being at this point, at this level, is a kind of more demanding. It's more demanding. It's more details that we have to be working on, and more things that we have to take care. But yeah, in the meantime, we are continuing working really, really hard. Just to get the band to this point and just to get this new album plugged out.
So what's the current lineup of the band?
Right now is myself and vocals, Robert is Avisus and the guitars, Benjamin Frost Giant and the bass guitar, and Chris Strofoli and the drums. Right now we got a new addition. The new really, really good guitar player is known in the US scene. He's Scott Ames. From the band Nirvana. So basically, he is going to be supporting us during the live performances as a second guitar player. So right now we got a really solid lineup, especially for shows, for lives. So, and yeah, that's the plan. We are really, really working really, really hard. I got a good team, good guys, good musicians. So that's the current lineup.
Okay, so you have a new album out, about to release off Napalm Records, called Wrath of the Beast. So tell us, how does the title of this album pertain to the content?
Well, this album has a lot of symbolism, because it's linked basically to the artwork. You see the artwork is basically a nation far out, coming like in my point of view, just coming like from the ashes of time, just coming to this modern world. So basically, War of the Beast means is the man itself. The man itself. All the chaos, all the chaos that we are experiencing nowadays in this modern time. And basically, all the lyrics of the band are be just relating about this kind of topic. Is about the chaos that we are experiencing nowadays, the way like the old modern system has been basically has failed. The economical system, the religious system, the political system, basically they are completely failed, because we are experiencing right now a complete chaos. Instead of, in the meantime, we are living in the modern world, but it basically looks like we are sometimes living worse than the primitive man. Like the man from the caves, we are living almost worse than that man. So that is a philosophical content that can explain the name of this album, Rat of the Beast, is related to the man itself. The mankind. Basically, the man is the maker of this chaos. We are experiencing all this chaos everywhere around the world. that's the meaning of this album.
And you had touched a little bit about the cover art, so tell us a little bit, about the artist too.
This artist is called Peter Salai. He's a really, really talented guy. He's from Europe. Basically, he has been working doing the artworks for other main bands like Sabaton, Calavera Conspiracy, Cataclysm, other mainstream bands. So he's a really talented guy. I'm really happy and satisfied with the way that we made this artwork, because basically he brought to life all the vision that I was having with this album, with this artwork, especially with this artwork. And it's as I say, it's like a connection between the past and the modern time. Like an ancient Egyptian past, like the way that we are coming from there. From the ages of time, we are right now in a modern time. But if we see sometimes in the past the history of the mankind, we see so many things, so many mistakes, so many wars, so many chaos around, so many destruction around. But that's the thing that is coming linked to this album. So I was looking that kind of piece, because you see, as I say in the description, that I just say it is like an ancient pharaoh just coming into creating chaos into the in a modern town, with buildings, everything collapsing around. So fog, pollution, contamination, all that kind of things around is like the real thing that we are experiencing right now. So it's like a complete chaos in so many aspects of this reality.
And so how would you describe this album, like, in a musical sense? How did you approach this album musically? And tell us a little bit about the musical aspect of this album.
Well, everything just came almost, I can say, almost in the perfect way that I was looking for, including the sound quality. The sound quality is the best sound quality that we couldn't reach at this time with this album. We worked the sound with JF Dagenace. He is the guitar player of Cataclysm. Mm-hmm. Basically, he has his studio over here in Dallas, Texas, where I am from. So everything just came really perfectly, like taking all the parts just came at the perfect time, just to make this album the way that I was looking for. And the music, they say, according to your question, basically the music more than for us, we are playing black metal style, like a black metal genre. More than black metalers, I am metalhead, mm-hmm. And I really love all the classic metal bands, the old classic metal bands, the old time, the old classic rock and roll bands. And I wanted to make an album that we can enjoy listening over and over. We're not getting tired to listen to this album. And in this album, you can find so many riffs that basically are coming for that influences. You can find heavy metal riffs, death metal riffs, thrash metal riffs, and obviously black metal, because we are playing black metal. But it's a good combination of those elements that we put together in every song. And every song you can find really, really good different ambiences, different atmospheres. But it's like a journey to different metal atmospheres. That's the way that you can find listening right of the beast.
Now, are you the sole songwriter, or does everybody contribute?
Basically, I'm the main head behind all the music and the lyrics. But mostly all this album has been written and composed by my bass player, Benjamin Shanks, Frost Giant. Basically, we worked this album together, and I got a couple of songs that my old guitar player in Colombia, he wrote. We wrote those songs long time ago, I guess around 8 years ago. Wow. But those songs, they were really good until we keep those songs until this time, and we make it the recording of the songs. But just to recording this process has been a long process. we have been writing this album since 5 years ago. So it has been, you can imagine, it has been a long process. 5 years ago, since the time that we started writing the first tracks, writing the lyrics, and getting everything ready to get this point. We were patient, really patient at this time. We didn't was rushing any step of the album. We wanted to make a really good album. As I say, an album that we can enjoy, that our fans can enjoy listening over and over. So, and I'm really satisfied with this album, the way that we made this album just to get to this point.
And now, do you know what format it's going to be released on once it comes out for everybody?
Yes, the album is in digital edition. Everyone can get it just to the different digital platforms, so streaming platforms, iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, the main streaming platforms. Also, the album is gonna be released in CD, yellow case CD, and very very limited edition of 300 vinyls. So basically, that's the editions that is gonna be released this album.
Now, what kind of tours are you guys going to be doing? I know you're doing one like right away, so tell us about that.
Yes, we are very excited about it. We are really working really hard just to make this tour happen. We are really excited to be part of this upcoming tour that we are gonna start basically on February 22nd. In Los Angeles, California, and we were invited just to make part of the opening act, for two big bands that everyone knows, like his Sexy Flesh and The Funeral. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good package tour. We are really excited. They are really amazing bands, So that's the coming plan. It's gonna be around 26 or 27 dates. Almost playing every day across across North America. So we are gonna be in the main markets across the U.S. and we are gonna have a couple of days in Canada, Montreal, and Toronto. So it's gonna be a really hard. It's gonna be a really intense tour, And also ending that tour, we are gonna be heading to Central America for a couple of festivals.
Wow.
We are going to be heading to Guatemala and El Salvador in Central America. So we are going to be playing a big, good festivals, We are going to be the opening act for Pestilence, an old band that a lot of people, the old school guys, they really know really well about Pestilence. And also, we are going to be sharing the stage with Morbosidad and the other band that is really well known over here, that is Acheron. Mm-hmm. So we are going to be part of these two amazing festivals in Central America. And so far, that's the main plan that we have for now. The 26 days, a long tour with supporting Sexy Flesh and The Funeral, and then going to Central America for that couple of festivals.
So if people want to know more about the band, Andres, what's the best sites where they could go to? They could find out, tour dates and what's going on with you guys.
Yeah, sure. We are really active in the social media, so everyone can find us really easy in Facebook. Just type in Facebook The Antichrist, or just going to Instagram too, to our Instagram account. So, anyways, nowadays it's really easy just to find the artists that you really want just to follow. But yeah, we got so many channels. We got YouTube, we got Twitter. But the most updated channel that we had is Facebook. We had all the events over there, dates. We got all the information about the album release. Also, by the day that we are going to be releasing this album, we are going to be releasing a full professional video clip.
Oh, nice.
It's going to be a new single release. It's a professional video clip that is completely done. So right now it's a schedule for premiere by the end. I guess it's going to be releasing in February 22nd. Almost the same day that we started tour, we are going to be doing the premiere of this single release that is called The Great Beast.
everything's happening at once.
Yeah, you know, it has been a really hard work. You know, we have been working really hard. You know, just to get the band to this point, to this level. You know, it's every day working really hard. There's so many teams around, so preparing the tour, working on the album release, working on videos, or working on other couple of videos, lyric videos that we had to release. Also, if everyone wants to get more involved into the new album, I guess 2 weeks ago we released a new single that was called "Metal to the Bone."
Mm-hmm.
So that single release is everyone can find the release on YouTube.
All right, so there you guys have it. Wrath of the Beast, out February 22nd on Napalm Records. And Andres, thank you very much for taking the time out to do this interview with us here tonight. And all the best on the new album and the tour. And just take care of yourselves out there on the road.
Thanks, Jet. I appreciate your support. I appreciate all your follow-up with the band. You know, basically, you are you know more than anyone. You know, the process that we have been doing with the band along the time, especially since the time that I came over here. I relocated to the U.S. Thank you very much for your support. So I'm really excited to see so many of you guys on this upcoming tour. And I hope you enjoy this new album, Wrath of the Beast.